Another question that I get very frequently, I'm sure it's the same for you, Dr. Hill, is inflammation. The word itself is kind of ambiguous. What is inflammation? Why is it a bad thing, or why is it not a bad thing?
Well, inflammation is a pretty broad topic, Dr. Hill. Inflammation is in my world is anything from eating something that's bad that shouldn't be in the body. The body gives you a signal. It's a communication that allows you to know that there's something that is wrong. A good example of that would be when somebody sits down on a thumbtack. The thumbtack is stuck in their rear end and it bothers them. The body then, because the thumbtack is there, kicks off a myriad of symptoms, communication to the brain, and then the body then has to do something with it. So immediately then you would take and start to raise your bottom off the chair and go into an antalgic position, or a position that you're trying to protect yourself. Now, everybody would look at that and say, like, I could take and go down to my friend down the street who's a medical physician, and he would give me a pill that would take and turn off my ability of reacting to the thumbtack so I could sit on it. As long as I took that, then I would be okay. The massage therapist might say, wow, that muscle's pretty tight. And when that muscle's tight, then she might want to work on that. Physical therapist might say, boy, that muscle is not as strong as the other side, and they would take and start to strengthen it. And as a functional physician, I would probably say, that's normal behavior sitting on a thumbtack, so let's take the thumbtack out, and then we've eliminated the cause of the inflammatory response. That's a really good way of explaining inflammation. Anything the body has or gets influenced with that it doesn't like will create that.
I like it.
Another really good example of inflammation is the American diet. The more food is processed, the more processes food go through, the harder it is for a human body to see or sense that it's normal, because the body was created in a way to process food that's organic and normal. And so the more the man has his hands on it, the body doesn't do well. And so then the body, because it can't use that material all that well, it creates an inflammatory response, trying to tell the owner or the person that's in charge of this thing what they need to do to take and try to help it. Another good example of inflammation would be having a baby in a room and having it have a diaper that's full. That would inflame the whole room, and it wouldn't go away until you fix that problem.
I like that one too. And it brings up a great point. I think that it's important to distinguish what it means to have inflammation that is stimulated by something that is an immediate response to injury or insult, as opposed to something that is what we would call systemic or whole body. Like the food that we eat is a very common thing that can cause systemic inflammation, whole body inflammation. And when your body has to continuously work against that, it's usually to the detriment of overall health. So when you can address that inflammatory status by changing something, oftentimes not too difficult of a change, you can have an outcome that reduces inflammation and helps your body to do what it normally does in a more healthy state.